Hello, this is Popcast on the Rocks, new podcast. My name is John, and we're here. I'm here with Andrea,
Hey,
um,
everybody.
and our producer is muted. That's fine.
But
We're
shout out to Alan anyway.
Yeah, we're starting a new podcast talking about pop culture. Pretty simple, and we'll do it over whiskey. So, what are you drinking there, Andrea?
So I've got some Game of Thrones whiskey here, Tully House going on. Um,
On the
pretty,
Stone Rock.
yes, yes, whiskey stones. I mean, I can't have my whiskey being watered down while I'm talking. I mean,
Yeah, mine's gonna get all watery.
the shame. My
Yeah,
goodness, outing
yeah.
yourself as an amateur here, John.
So yeah, I've got Game of Thrones whiskey as well, but
Nice.
Baratheon.
Yeah,
So
we chose poor houses. I mean, neither of our houses are really left at the end here.
hey, well, you know, I guess no spoilers, but Baratheon, they're poised for a comeback, right?
I don't know. I think we'll have to wait for Martin's book to come out to see
Yeah,
if there's any life left in the House of Baratheon.
right,
Been waiting how many years now? What's a couple more?
for sure. Well, we could talk about books, I guess, but we got television shows.
Yes.
It's I was in starting this podcast, um, I just thought how crazy this is now, where we're recording to each other on the internet and
Hmm.
potentially to others. Whereas I don't know about you, but when I grew up, it was don't tell people your name, don't tell people where you live, anonymity on the internet. And so I just think
Absolutely.
it's weird to put it all out there now. But anyways, news, TV news.
Yeah.
You watch Mindhunter at all?
I don't, unfortunately. I'm feeling like this is going to be, I know we're going to get to this later, but this is going to be a show I'm missing out on that I should be watching.
But
I mean, there's so many,
but
but
now should you is the question
oh,
because
right, right.
supposedly they might not do a season 3.
Have
So
they said why at all?
yeah, because the director, who's pretty awesome, he's got other stuff
Uh-huh.
he wants to focus on.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. This is actually pretty perfect because I feel like shows that continue on without original directors or possibly original writers run a very dicey gambit. I mean, look at True Blood.
Hmm.
Alan Ball, showrunner for 5 seasons, was excellent. I mean, everybody was talking about True Blood. And then he had to go because he had other projects at the end of season 5, passed off all of his duties. And 6 and 7, I mean,
Yep.
who likes the end of True Blood? Nobody.
Yep. Yeah.
Same with Game of Thrones. I mean, I'm not
Right.
the only person to say it,
But
but I
yes.
mean, you get to these like later episodes where like somebody major drops out, like George R. R. Martin's got other projects to focus on. He's got a book to write, for goodness sake, circling back to books. And he's got, how many other pilots in development that he's got to focus on.
Hmm.
And without him, Weiss and Benioff just dropped the ball. I
Yep.
guess to make an Alan Ball True Blood joke also. Um, but yeah, I mean, you know, when once you kind of have those core people drop out, is it wise to push on with the show?
Yeah. Well, but then I could push back on that and say how with Game of Thrones, they maybe should have had new showrunners.
Yeah,
You had showrunners that were no longer passionate or caring about the project, and it's something that had such, like, I think Mindhunter can die, and people will be like, okay, the people doing it, they're looking to do other things. It's the way it's gonna be, but they couldn't just stop Game of Thrones. So,
right. Right. Yeah, no, I mean you have so many actors that you have to lock down in that situation and
mhm,
you only have them for a certain amount of time. You got to do it. I think you get it, but it's still tough.
yep.
Still tough. It's a
So
lot of eyes in that situation.
technical errors already. So normally I'm used to when you're chatting like this, then everybody else that gets switched to their screens. So the whole
Oh.
start of this thing until just a bit ago is just you, because for so I gotta
Oh,
I'll switch be
hiding
like
behind my face, John.
television producer. Well, that's for the best, I'm sure, but
Oh,
um
shush.
um but yeah, so I really liked Mindhunter. I thought it was season 1 was good. Season 2 really um um expanded. I really liked the some of the storylines they had in there with the one detective's kid, and they had some really creepy murderers in there. So it'll be sad if it doesn't come back. But
Is there, having not seen it, is there a satisfying resolution to last season that
absolutely
I
not.
mean,
No,
okay, great.
no, it is totally set to continue. I mean, the whole
Oh god,
season,
that's the worst.
season 2 begins with kind of the alluding to a killer
Sure.
that they start showing that they never talk about until the last episode, and they show him again, and you're like, God, that guy is creepy,
Mhm.
and that's it. So they were clearly leading to season 3 would explain and talk about this
Sure.
guy and what he is. So
That's disappointing.
yes,
That's always the worst when you have, like, some sort of, cliffhanger, something unresolved that feels pretty major and you just, you don't get that the seasons you feel like you need.
yep.
But,
Well,
I mean, there have been shows canceled before that, they kind of come back and they feel like they're able to wrap up in some sort of fashion,
right.
you know, um, or via movie sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather it, I guess, would die and not be than come back and be bad and have, like you say, is someone else with a completely different vision to it, um, or
Yeah,
I'm okay waiting, if that ends up happening, but um, we'll see.
for sure.
Other things canceled. I see you got something in the notes about that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this just like came across my news feed the other day. I had sort of known about it and I just thought it was interesting on two levels. So yeah, so there was talk of a possible show in development at HBO called Confederate. And it was one of those shows kind of like The Man in the High Castle,
Hmm.
where it reimagines history.
Oh,
In this
okay.
case, what if the South had won the Civil War and seceded from the Union?
Hmm.
And so it's sort of like the United States growing from that point, and it would be set modern day, having all this like backstory and history and imaginative,
Right.
alternate history. But that's now canceled. So Game of Thrones showrunners, Weiss and Benioff, they were the minds behind it. They were going to do it, kind of got some pushback on from fans, or TV followers. I don't guess these probably wouldn't be considered fans, since they were pretty negative about the show. But I'm not sure what you would call that then. But so they got a lot of pushback from, kind of the general public about not only the content, but the way in which they were going to create it. And so that just kind of fell apart. And then they're getting some offers from Netflix to direct some new things, and they were kind of shifting their attention there anyway. Um, and then HBO was maybe going to keep pushing forward with the show, but now they just announced like, no, we're not even going
Hmm.
to try it. So
Well,
just thought it was interesting. It was kind of one of the examples, I guess, of the public, pushing back so hard that they get their way, and B, even if you're a darling director one minute, you can be out in the cold the next, because people are really falling out of love with those two because of, I think, the ending of Game of Thrones.
right.
So
Well, and that's what I was wondering. Like, do you think it's purely fans, watchers, and stuff, or is there's like uh, a loss of confidence or a vote of no confidence in the two? Because they were also slated to be doing their own Star Wars trilogy, you know.
yes.
So you have you have it. I think it's ironic. You got there is in such a hurry to finish Game of Thrones, one of the best things that could be handed to a pair of young directors ever.
Absolutely.
They're ready to rush through it, and in hopes of other jobs, and now they're losing all those jobs. So is this?
Yeah,
I don't know. Is it just? I mean, if trilogy of three new Star Wars movies is a commitment too.
absolutely.
Are you gonna flake out on that two movies in?
Right. Right. And I mean, the other ironic twist to that is I've heard rumblings that those will be delayed as well because
Hmm.
of the reception of the last trilogy.
Hmm.
Like a lot of people weren't happy with Rise of Skywalker
Yep.
and sort of the interplay between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. And now Disney's kind of doing another like big pause. We didn't have the reaction we wanted. Sort of in the same vein that they did after Solo.
Hmm.
So, I mean, like you said, Weiss and Benioff were in a rush to get to all these jobs, and those jobs are dropping left and right
Hmm.
or being pushed back. And
I I won't comment on the Star Wars stuff because I think that should be a whole episode. That should be a
yes,
whole
I
episode of
totally
Star
agree.
Wars.
Yep. I only bring it up
Yeah.
to segue into the next trilogy being delayed,
Yep.
possibly.
For sure.
And sort of Weiss and Benioff losing out on some opportunities here.
Yep.
So
Okay. Well, you can tell we're already talking about television. Um,
yeah.
there's no better time for being a fan of television than now. And I was wondering what you thought of when the golden age of television has started.
Ooh. Oh man. Man, I don't know that I have a ready answer to that question. Um, I mean, it feels like the past 10 years, really. I mean, I know that's kind of a long stretch. But like there's a lot that's gone into development from, when you would sit down and, have to watch a live episode of TV or miss it. Um, there's been so many steps in between that and to where we are now, which is just like anytime, anywhere, any show almost. Um, but I feel like, yeah, I mean, I feel like the past 10 years, just sort of like a couple years beyond um the first Game of Thrones season,
Hmm.
like when streaming services really decided to make their own shows.
Right.
I think is also sort of a dual rise of movie stars, traditional movie stars getting into television.
Yeah, that's true. It was always sort of seen as the I don't know, the shameful thing or whatever that
Mhm.
you're
The
a Hollywood
lesser.
yeah, you're a Hollywood actor and now you're gonna be forced to be on a sitcom or something like that.
Mhm.
But in my mind, it started with probably one answer is bias, Battlestar
Mm.
Galactica, because I love it so
Oh,
much.
nice.
And then the
Solid
other is
show.
like Sopranos. To
Yeah,
me,
solid.
with those two, I mean, one you had Battlestar, where it was a show that a hallmark of television often was the lower budget. So you didn't have the special effects, so they weren't as convincing. Um, and Battlestar, I did a pretty good job of changing that. Brought good drama to the television every week, and then Sopranos, which I haven't seen, but everybody raves about it, and I think that's what started
I'm gonna
to.
admit the same. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I think that's what started. You know, even today, people still love The Sopranos. It's brought up in television, and other things from HBO like Deadwood or whatever. But I
Yeah.
think that was the beginning of it, really.
I think it's ironic that we talk about Sopranos, another show with what many people believe is an unsatisfying ending.
Yes. Yep. That's for
So
sure.
it's kind of a common theme, I think, TV shows start really well, and then, everybody gets in, and everybody's talking about it, and then all of a sudden something happens to like the final seasons, and it's hard to wrap it up, hard to
Mm-hmm.
deliver.
Yep.
So,
Well, and I would talk about that too in the, I think it would bundle really well into this the Star Wars episode, because there's just this thing, and you're a writer. You tell
yeah,
me when you are gonna write something, does generally not a blueprint, an outline, isn't that one of the earlier things, you know? I mean, I know stories can start from anywhere. You know, you get inspiration for a place or a character or whatever, and things build from that. But when you're going to actually
absolutely.
do something, don't you have a structure?
Absolutely. You storyboard it, you map it out. Um, I mean, like you said, you can be inspired by anything, anywhere, but those I feel like at least should be more of like, oh, this is my journal entry for the day, or this is, my little notebook inspiration that I
Right.
have. And if I really want to write about it, I should come back to it, and really develop it and like plot it out before I start writing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've learned it's very easy to get excited about something and, write a couple pages or write a chapter or, write the first act of a play if that's what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to follow through if you don't have the commitment, if you don't have the passion, and you don't have a vision for where you're going, because it can feel endless
Mm-hmm.
if you just write.
So, why do you think these professional writers in Hollywood and everything, why do you
Mhm.
think they don't get that? Is it like is it, okay, we need to deliver a movie now. Okay, you got a good idea. Let's get a script. Let's get a script and let's do it. That sounds great. And then you just, well, okay, well, the next thing then, well,
Sure.
that was successful, so more of that. Do more of that. Is
Mhm.
it, I just think that some things don't have an excuse.
I
Was
agree.
Sopranos born that way? Did Star Wars know they were going to make a trilogy instead of just one more movie? I mean,
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I know that there are definitely shows out there that are born with the end in mind. For example, I'm a big fan of the show The Good Place,
hmm,
and that is now ending after 4 seasons,
okay,
and they could totally keep going. They have a huge fan base. It's really big right now. Nominated for a lot of awards. Um, but the showrunners keep saying, like, we envisioned this in 4 seasons. That's what we feel we can execute well.
right,
And if we push it, we're not going to do it well anymore.
hmm,
And I think that's the smart move
yep,
sometimes. I mean, sometimes you gotta leave the party before you're the one who stays too long.
yeah.
Um, and I think that's a smart way to approach it. Do I think sometimes there's room for exception? Sure. Um, but I think it's really hard if you approach a TV show with, we just want to make as many seasons as possible. It can work, but a lot of times I think it backfires.
I love your example. As an aside or a tangent, have you seen the SNL skit with Ryan Reynolds and Jimmy Fallon? It's the it's
No.
the new scent of like get the F out candle. I forget.
No.
Yeah, so it's
Oh,
like
I need to
he says
see
a
this
holiday
though.
party, and it's like you're doing all the signs. You're like, oh,
Oh,
oh, you're like yawning, really extreme. You're
trying
doing,
to trying to get people to take the hint.
yeah,
Get
you're
out of here.
doing. Oh man, it's so late. I should leave. Oh wait, this is
Mhm.
my house. I just shouldn't leave. You guys shouldn't be
Right.
doing. And no one leaves. Well, then you light this candle, and it smells so bad that everybody leaves. Then, so yeah,
No, I've not seen this, but obviously I will now.
yeah, it should be seen. Um, okay, yeah. Um, it strikes me as odd that this is happening, but maybe more and more of like this thing like what's that? Is this the same like showrunners and in the same world as A Good Wife?
No,
It's not.
no,
Okay.
so the Good Place is, starring Kristen Bell and Ted Danson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the one where, Kristen Bell's character dies and I'm really not spoiling anything because this is all, like, the first
It's
10
the
minutes of the
premise,
first
yeah.
episode. Um, So she dies and thinks she is sent to the good place, but realizes that this is a mistake because she is a horrible person, as we learn through all of her flashbacks to her life on Earth. She is terrible. So it's all about like her trying to stay in the good place.
Oh, okay.
And Ted Danson is like the architect of the good place, and she's trying to keep him from finding out.
Yep.
I highly recommend it. Especially as I'm one of those who likes to switch up my TV watching. I need a dark show, but I need a light show.
Sure.
I gotta ping back and forth. I can't just like all in,
Yep.
all dark all the time.
And we have a viewer that doesn't like those shows and says Friends trumps them all. It's
Friends trumps them
yeah.
all.
Uh,
Every single show we've discussed.
yeah. Well, I mean, Friends. I mean, were you an avid watcher of Friends? I know they just had their whatever
Absolutely.
anniversary or um,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, I was one of those like NBC Thursday, must see TV Thursday.
hmm.
Um my parents were very into the shows at that time like Seinfeld, Friends.
Yep.
So those were big staples, and now of course you can still see Friends for a time anyway on Netflix, and I've rewatched. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I
they're
I
killing
hi
those off. Yeah.
yeah, before NBC gets their own channel and pulls off The Office and Friends. Like everybody's doing
Yes.
now.
So as you mentioned that
Mhm.
NBC gonna have their service,
Mhm.
everyone has their service.
Yep.
How do you think the state of streaming is, and what services do you have? Like, do you try to
Yeah.
get them all? Do you switch between them?
So, funny story, as I was kind of prepping for this show, I was looking something up. I was like trying to fact check something on IMDb, and I saw IMDb TV. And I thought, "Oh my gosh, this is so great." Like they've sort of divided the site between like movies and television. So I clicked on it. Nope, it's a streaming service. Like IMDb has their own TV streaming service. And I was just like, my God, how far are we going with this whole like everybody has a TV service? Like
Yeah.
Facebook has Facebook Watch now,
Hmm.
um, which I'm still trying to figure out because they somehow, through like some magic powers, have pulled all seasons of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is my all-time favorite TV show. So I'm still trying to figure out Facebook Watch and how I can get in on that.
Wait, Facebook Watch has all the Buffy shows?
Right?
That's
This is
this.
like this is like blowing my mind.
That's weird how that. Yeah, that's strange
Right?
how that
Like
would
Buffy's
happen.
never been on almost anything. I think they were on Netflix for like a little bit. Um, but they're gone now. But yeah. So like everybody has a streaming service. It's kind of making me a little crazy because it feels like streaming services are moving into a format where they're just different TV channels.
Hmm.
Do you
Yep.
know what I mean? They're not even
Yep.
like a streaming service anymore.
Yep.
It's more like YouTube or not YouTube. Well, YouTube's getting their own original content too. Justin Bieber apparently is doing like a show.
Oh, I'm excited. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
gonna first in line to watch
but
that.
but they do.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, they have. There's a retro tech show I watch on there.
yeah,
Marquez Brownlee does, and there was one that stars some people from Harry Potter. Draco Malfoy and
right,
Nymphadora Tonks are in it and stuff. So yeah, they have
right.
their own
So
content too.
yeah, so everybody's getting their own content. And it feels like less of a streaming service and more like which channel do I, like when I'm surfing through TV, like which channel do I like? Which
Hmm.
channel has the best programs? So it's very, in my mind, it's very like cyclical.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
like streaming services were born as one thing and now they're shifting sort of back into a different thing.
Hmm. Except the difference was that with our viewer here says all you need is Netflix, Amazon Prime, and YouTube,
I
and
have those.
yeah, and those are, I mean, pretty dominant for sure. Um, but like with cable, you had or satellite, you had all your channels in one place. You knew you turn on the
Mhm.
TV, you have this there. I know like Amazon is trying to do where if you open the Amazon Prime app, you can subscribe via them to other content. So then, right, it's just this channel. Apple's doing where you can subscribe through them and manage your subscription through your Apple account, and then you just launch the Apple TV app to like
Yeah.
I mean, it's still pinging you in between different apps,
Right.
but I mean, because we're gonna need some solution for that. You're gonna have people that, if they're still interested in watching TV, people are gonna get tired of like, well, okay, what app was that one on? Who's doing this show? And
Yeah.
then you can't maintain them all either.
Right. Yeah. We're sort of running into that right now. Um, where we've got Netflix, we've got Amazon, YouTube, of course, Hulu, and one other streaming service that I'm not thinking of, I think. Um, but I think, oh, Disney Plus, which I'm yanking, don't tell them, from my parentals because they just got new unlimited Verizon data plans. So
Mm,
I'm like
yep, yep.
stealing that. So sorry, Disney. You'll be fine though.
I have some issues with Disney or whatever, so we were like, oh, do we want to pay for that? But we're getting it from Verizon too or whatever, so
Nice. Nice.
it's a nice bonus. But none of these,
It's the
there's
hook,
not.
though.
What's
It's
that?
the hook. It's the hook they're gonna
Oh,
get you, and then
yeah,
suddenly it's gonna be, you got to pay for something.
yes, yep. Well, and it did work because now if all of a sudden that was going to run out and Mandalorian
Mhm.
season 2 comes around, well, I'm gonna pay to watch Mandalorian season 2. So,
Right.
you
Right.
know, but it was before you had all these channels that were, they were beholden to cable companies to be distributed.
Right.
So it behooved them to bundle and make deals. And as just a channel, a lot of them were under one umbrella. And
Hmm.
now, but you've got these giant tech companies that are making and media companies that are making their own streaming service. They're not gonna bundle, I don't think. I think
Yeah.
that's the difference is that before you'd have channels and they would have to kind of come together under an umbrella, and I feel like
Right.
the best we're gonna get is that Amazon or Apple TV trying to offer you one place to click on your different streaming service.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, Netflix was sort of like the original gatherer, in that format, and then now it's all slipping away,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately. I mean, I don't think Netflix is going away, but
Right.
they're losing a little bit each time everybody opens up a channel.
Yep. Our our viewer here says he's from the UK and he doesn't get Hulu or HBO and etc.
Oh. HBO, that's what I was thinking of. Super obvious.
Mm.
That's what we have also. Duh. Sorry, dude
Yeah.
or lady.
Yeah, it's you could use a VPN. And people here do that, like with Star Trek, you get to watch on
Yeah.
CBS, but with Netflix, you can watch it in other countries. So you VPN that you're in another country and whatever. I think that's legal.
You
Do you have cable then
didn't you
too?
didn't get it from us if it's not.
Yeah. Do you have cable then too yet?
Yeah.
Okay. See,
So
that's
even more stuff to watch.
right. That's always the
It feels
thing. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it feels a little less pressing now. Like cable, I was really, really interested in hanging on to when Walking Dead was so big.
Mm,
And now I'm drifting from Walking Dead.
hmm Okay,
Which I'm
so but
sad
you're
about,
you're
but
still caught up. You're still caught up.
no, I'm not. I'm like a
Okay.
season or two behind now. I do like Fear the Walking Dead actually. That feels like a little bit of a refresh that
Okay.
I'm enjoying.
Nice.
Um, but it's hard. I feel like Walking Dead has killed a lot of people that I enjoyed, which you have to do in
Yeah.
a zombie
Yeah.
apocalypse world. I mean, you can't have no death, but it just hasn't gripped me the way that Game of Thrones would kill people, major people, and I would still be gripped.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Reviewer. I gotta read his name. This show does
okay.
he gives doesn't like Walking Dead anymore either. Yeah, we had
Yeah.
quit a couple seasons ago.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah. It's a kind of example of like how much of a plan did they have on that as well,
Right?
and how
And have they
long?
stayed too long at the party? Do we
Yeah.
need to light the candle?
Yeah, right. Well, I've got got the Disney Plus, Netflix,
Okay.
Amazon, YouTube, Apple TV, because
Mm.
if you get a device, you get Apple TV Plus
Sure.
for a year, I think it is, and Crunchyroll,
Oh yeah, I've got Crunchyroll as well.
and then Hulu Live TV. So we don't have cable or satellite, so it's we have Hulu Live TV then.
Nice. Nice.
Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I feel like cable is one of the things we're reevaluating.
right, yeah. Well, yeah, we keep.
It's a lot.
Yep. We had PS View, and so that was one kind of. It's not really news, I guess, because it's been a little bit. But PS View, PlayStation View is going away. That was
Mhm.
their TV service. We're shutting that down, and so that's why we switched to Hulu Live TV
Sure.
um, in its stead. And we could get rid of that too, but every once in a while, I mean, we watch. My wife watched Dr. Phil, and Dr. Phil is like incredibly inaccessible
Yep.
um, anywhere but watching it live. It's really
Yep.
weird. So we have it records TBRs, and then Housewives. It's I mean that's a
Need my
must. You got to
housewives.
have the Housewives.
That's
So
right.
it's sad, but that's
Um,
pretty much what we keep it for.
do you it's taking a little bit of a detour. Have you heard the new housewives news about the
Uh,
Salt Lake City?
wait, what?
Yeah, there's gonna be Real Housewives Salt Lake City.
If I heard that, I don't remember it.
Okay. Someone just texted me a little bit ago and said that that was a thing, and I was like, yeah, I'll still watch it. Like,
Oh, I'll watch it. I mean,
I'm curious.
it's gonna be they're gonna put a couple Mormons in there and to
Right, like
explore
I want to
that.
know.
Yeah, they're gonna explore that for
Yeah.
sure.
So, I'm not ashamed to say that's a large reason why I will watch it.
Okay.
I mean, I,
Um,
I may not stay with it, but that's a large reason why I would start.
right. Yeah. I'm gonna bring up Housewives a little later on, I think too yet. But
Okay.
that's very interesting. That's very interesting to know.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so it's you were talking TV. Well,
Mhm.
we kind of gone over that a little bit with I guess stuff. But you still watch a lot of movies? Is like movies a big thing for you, or is television one of your more predominant form of entertainment?
Sure. I would say television is probably now more dominant. It's I mean, both for me and then watching with Chris, my
Hmm.
husband, um, for our one viewer out there. Um, yeah, I mean, TV's just it's quicker to get through. I mean, you don't have to commit so long. And it's nice when you kind of want to like wind down with a show, or if I'm like, don't tell my boss, watching at work. It's easier to watch an episode of TV than it is to like sit down and watch a movie. Um, and I mean, but that being said, like I still love the movies. I still love the experience of going to the movies.
Hmm.
So I'm actually, though we have so many movies available on streaming services, I'm actually more likely to go to a theater, sit down and watch a
Okay.
movie than I am to sit down and watch one from a streaming service, unless it's like nostalgia.
Hmm. Right.
Somebody will bring something up and I'm like, oh, I haven't seen that. That's childhood. And
Right.
I'll bring it up on a streaming service and watch it.
Do you think that the youth of the world is still interested in the group experience kind of thing? Because from what I understand, what
Yeah.
I hear is um, kids these days they don't watch television. A TV is just not a device they care about. They don't have a laptop that they're using their phone and they're consuming
Yeah.
their video entertainment on their phone. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's anything. That's sitting watching TV shows. That's, I guess, movies. I mean, or is it just not? I don't have the patience for a movie, you know?
Yeah, I feel like movies, I mean, they do require patience. They do require you to sit down. And you can watch a movie in chunks, of course you can, but I think you miss something when you do. And that's really tough to do on a phone.
Right,
Cuz I mean, you can watch anything anytime anywhere on a phone, but you rarely, I think, watch something on a phone and have like 2 hours to kill.
right. But
So
so is
you can chunk it up, but that's tough.
right.
That's, you know, you
So is
miss things.
binge watching a thing that we, our generation, like started and then it's going to end with us? Or,
Ooh,
I mean,
no.
because we'll sit, oh, I don't want to watch a movie, but then you power through
Right?
6 episodes
5
of
hours later.
whatever. Yeah. So, and I know that people have talked about this a lot
Yeah.
before, and so it's straight, but it always interests me, like, are we looking in the wrong place here? Are we
Mm.
thinking this is normal and it's gonna not be really soon?
I don't think so. I think from the few younger people I've talked to, binge watching is still a thing. It's just like binge watching YouTube videos or like
Mm-hmm.
binge watching somebody's channel, like an
Mm-hmm.
influencer or, like a vlogger or whatever,
Yep.
or like mini series from YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
That I think is still binge watching. It's just like the content itself is shorter.
Mm-hmm.
You still maybe spend 2 hours maybe watching a channel on YouTube, but you're watching like 5-minute increments.
Yep.
So,
Yeah. I don't know.
yeah,
I should look at some
I
of the demographics on shows and stuff and how
mhm,
that gets broken down because I'd be
yeah.
interested.
I think also TV is really geared, even though it's so accessible, it's still really geared towards adults because adults just have more time. So I think
Mm.
that, when this generation maybe moves into like college level and above kind of adulthood, you just have more time to like sit down and kill.
Mm.
As a younger generation, if you've got activities going on, you're out with your friends, you're trying to like hang out, go somewhere. It's harder to just like commit a night to binge watching, or if you've got homework, for goodness sake, you know, it's
Yeah.
harder to commit. Like I have so much more free time now. I've noticed in my life since I graduated from grad school.
Mm-hmm.
I sit down and like make complicated dinners
Right.
on a frequent basis. I've read 6 books in the
Mm-hmm.
past 2 weeks and finished 3 TV shows, and I'm watching like 7 TV shows right now.
So
So,
you know what needs to end all this productivity is you have a kid. And then, oh my
oh my
gosh,
god, my mom would love you.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
so I mean, because I know, a few new
Yeah, it's that
parents or
sweet
whatever
spot.
too, and it's like, yeah, it,
It's it's the sweet spot between being a kid and having a kid, I think,
yep,
is what TV's aimed for, or movies, really.
yep, yep. Okay, well, so it's a new year,
Mhm.
2019's gone.
Yes.
Um, what's been your favorite TV of the last year? What's kept you entertained?
Yes. So it's hard to think of like the entire year because holy cow. But something that I sort of like closed out the year with is 2 different shows because I said earlier I do my dark and my light. Um, so I closed out the year with Lucifer, which is on Netflix. It's
Yeah.
4 seasons, and the 5th season will be coming next year, or actually this year. My God, it is 2020, like you just said. Um, so that's something I'm looking forward to this year is the final season of Lucifer, the 5th and final season. But yeah, it's not obviously a new show, but it was a new show to me in 2019.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to be more proactive about watching like Netflix's or Amazon's original content.
Right. Yeah.
So that was a big one. I really liked it. It's a twist. I won't give anything too big away, but it's a twist on another like buddy cop procedural kind
Hmm.
of show. But the twist is one of the characters is actually Lucifer. He's the devil.
Right.
And it's also based on a comic as well. It's a comic series and I think it's just really well executed. It's dramatic, it's hilarious, it's supernatural, you know. It's got a lot of different elements. The actors are fabulous. Tom Ellis, who plays Lucifer, is just like the most committed, excellent actor.
Hmm.
So I love it. Um and it reintroduced me to um a actress who I watched her for an entire season and thought, my God, I know you from somewhere. And she's one of the main characters. She's actually plays Lucifer's therapist because he's in LA. So everybody, of course, has to go to therapy. And the only other thing I'd seen her in was actually The Hangover. She's
Oh.
like the terrible girlfriend to Stu. She's like that awful, controlling girlfriend who like watches him throughout the entire movie. And I remember like hating her guts, but in Lucifer, I absolutely love her. She just like totally commits. She doesn't care like if she's liked or
Hmm.
not liked. She's fabulous. She's one of the best parts of the show. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Have
So
you?
Lucifer is my dark show and then my light show is One Day at a Time also on Netflix. Little cute like 20-minute episode comedy slice of life for a family that has kind of some interesting dark moments. It's a single mom and her two kids living with her mother, and the mom is a war veteran who comes back, and some of the kind of serious moments deal with like her PTSD, but a lot of it is just exploring her world, exploring her kids' world, and it's all of every character is really well developed, which is one of my favorite things is when a character is well developed.
Right.
So,
I have never heard of that one.
um,
That's kind of the
yeah,
way this can be now, though, with so much stuff.
yeah,
You can have things you just never heard of, and a
yeah,
lot of things are going to go under the radar. Really good quality content for sure.
right, right. It's hard to keep up with everything.
Hmm.
So,
I
what
see
about
we,
you?
well, I see
What do
we
you got?
share, listen to notes, I see we share one show that was a really
Ooh,
big for this year, The Promised Neverland.
oh my God, so good.
Um, that was that was quality. Um,
Absolutely.
I liked Witcher. Was probably
That's
the
on my to watch. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you like it.
I mean, I played Witcher 2, the game, and a
Hmm.
lot of Witcher 3 and the Witcher card game. So when this show was announced, I was pretty worried because usually video games to television or movies doesn't work out so well. Um, but yeah, I was super impressed. I kept going into it expecting like some sort of I'd be let down. There'd be a lower budget moment or something.
For
But
sure.
it was kind of the other way around. I was impressed by the production value and seeing some familiar faces. They got some talent in there. Made me like some more characters. And having played the games, we would stop in the middle of it and be like, okay, we gotta look this up because we're not sure who like the story wasn't quite making sense to us, or we were
Sure.
like, how is this person here? And it was really fun to see to fill in more of that backstory because this stuff it's based on the books, not the game, but they clearly take things from both, and it takes place before the games.
Okay.
So it was really cool to see the like main song that they wrote. Toss a coin to your Witcher. Listen to that song. It's catchy. It's awesome. So I mean, I was probably gonna say my show of the year is The Mandalorian, but
Oh,
I
okay.
think Witcher passed it up for me. Did you see
Ooh,
Mandalorian?
interesting. No, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
Um, I've just gotten my stolen uh Disney credentials,
Oh,
so
right. Go ahead. Yep.
I will be watching it. Um, but yeah, I haven't seen The Mandalorian yet. Witcher is definitely on my list to watch. And I'm gonna out myself as an extra nerd. The Witcher came up. I'm part of a Facebook group for the Renaissance Festival.
Hmm.
And The Witcher actually came up recently on chat in that group, as everybody excited to see Witcher costumes this year. A big group of
Mm.
people are planning to get coins so they can do the toss a coin to your Witcher, which now makes more sense to me,
Yes.
knowing hearing your discussion of that and knowing that that's a song. So yeah,
Oh, it's so good.
so
And
I'm just like getting really revved up to watch it. I'm really
that's
excited.
good. I mean, my thing, and I was told going into it, or just a little bit in, was there are three separate timelines going at once, and
Okay,
I didn't necessarily know that at first. And once you know that, and you see how it all comes together, so I know that was the biggest complaint that I've been seeing of the show is the jumping around in the timeline with different groups. Um,
sure.
and it sounds like they're gonna have it very different, but it kind of converge in the anyways. So.
Okay,
Um, yeah, I'm excited to hear what you have to think about it. Um,
absolutely.
it's and yeah, I mean, I know we talked Viking, but I would absolutely um, drop coin to be to cosplay
Do
as
Witcher
Witcher
instead.
for the Renaissance Fair. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I we watch a lot of like you say, kind of something light and something dark.
Hmm.
So the new season of Rick and Morty was really good this year too. I haven't watched most of the other stuff. I kind of really got into it this season,
Sure.
but that's just hilarious. So I'm surprised you didn't say Stranger Things. What did you think of Stranger Things?
Okay, well, so I when we sort of talked about shows, I approached it as like what was a brand new show to me that I loved this
Mm,
year.
okay,
I did actually think of Stranger Things
right.
very quickly. But then thought like, no, I should talk about like an entire show that I watched the last year. Because I mean, obviously that's over several years.
Yep.
I did love Stranger Things. I loved this season better than I loved season 2.
Okay.
Um, the only big disappointment for me this season was Hopper, the character of
Okay.
Hopper. He just got really weird and yelly and
Mhm.
one-dimensional.
Yep.
And that was just a big letdown because he was one of my favorites.
Mhm.
And he kind of dropped a little bit in my ranking system. Um, it was, I mean, like I loved the new setting. I loved the Starcourt Mall. I loved all the
Mhm.
adventures there. Um, I just thought I think overall plot wise, I loved this season. I thought some characters just took a little bit of a nosedive.
Mhm.
Hopper being one. Um, and then um Charlie being another, Will's older brother.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay.
He just when his whole like dynamic with Nancy at the paper was just like
Mhm.
you're
Yep.
being like a big denier of like what she's telling you is happening, and I didn't really see the point of that. Like I
Sure.
just felt like they dragged that out a little bit. So the star of that season for me was Billy, Max's
Yes.
older brother. Absolutely.
For
Just
sure.
like knocked it out of the park, crushed every single scene.
Yep.
Um and I'm yeah.
I, I,
I was gonna say something
yeah,
and then I don't know if
I
I
know.
should.
I was,
But
I was thinking while we're talking as how we probably should have prefaced by like, you know,
spoiler.
yeah, we'll be like, if something's gonna
Scouting
come up
spoiler.
that's spoilery, we'll
Yes.
give it an advance notice,
Okay.
I would think.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I think we talked about this is Stranger Things some. It does. I mean, it's one of those things like a Spielberg show or like the original, well, not the original, but the Brendan Fraser Mummy movie.
Mhm.
There's an art to the balance between drama and humor, and I think that in
Yes.
this last decade, it's really the Marvel franchise that's kind of managed to nail that best usually. And so I think
Absolutely.
Stranger Things is having that trouble, um, where you know when is it funny and when is it serious? And it seemed to me like a lot of it should be serious, but they're too busy making sure they inject humor into everything. Um,
Right.
there's a
Right. I
scene with a little girl that was like in there is with the group, and it's like, this is very serious, little child. You could die here, okay? It's not
absolutely.
funny, and so you got to
Yeah.
balance that to make it believable yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like the humor was a little forced and a little one note. Sort of relying on stereotypes or tropes
Sure.
rather than cleverness.
Hmm.
Um there were certainly moments, of course, that I still thought were very funny and were more well executed, but on the whole, like you said, humor was a little off balance this season.
Hmm. So, what are you looking forward to? What are you, what are you looking forward to? What are you watching now? What's
Yeah.
on your radar?
So I'll start with what I'm looking forward to. Part of which I already said, which is of course the final season of Lucifer.
Hmm.
I'm actually very glad that there's only 5 seasons because I think they're gonna do the thing where they don't stay too long at the party.
Hmm.
I think this is gonna be like a good ending after 5 seasons. But what I'm really looking forward to is the adaptation of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series.
Oh, okay.
I Yeah, I'm really, really excited about it. I think it's gonna be either epically awesome or like a really, really big failure. Because the series itself, have you read that at all?
Nope. Hmm.
Okay. So it's very complicated. Like the books are, dare I say, even more complicated than Game of Thrones books.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
that's saying something.
yeah, yeah, it definitely is. So that's why I say it could either be this huge, amazing thing, or it could be like just a train wreck. Um, so I'm actually rereading the books right
Okay.
now to get prepped for it because it's definitely one of those where you want to go in, I think, with some base.
Hmm.
So I'm a little worried about that, but I'm really excited about it because it's like another grand fantasy epic um, that I think could really hook people. It's at the core, it's got this really amazing story and it's got really memorable, solid characters that are well developed. Sadly, Robert Jordan died before he could complete the series,
Hmm.
but he had another writer that he was sort of like working with at the time
Okay.
that he sort of fell ill, who finished out the series, and it's almost seamless, like the transition. So it's a complete series, which is really great. It's got that leg up on the Game of Thrones, I think,
Right.
because there's an end destination, so you've got somewhere fully realized to go.
But maybe the creators, maybe the showrunners won't read most of it or really be all that inspired by the original content, and it will
Yeah,
be, I mean,
we'll see.
where's it going to be? Do you know what service is going to be on? Who's doing it? Do you have they have good credentials or anything like that?
Right, I believe Amazon is doing it.
Okay. Okay.
So, and they've got some pretty solid notches on their belt, I think. I don't They don't really have much in the way of fantasy,
Sure.
but they've got some solidly produced programs. Um so yeah. So I'm a yeah, I'm a little nervous because the last fantasy I watched on Amazon was Carnival Row,
Oh,
and
right.
that was a giant disappointment, as I've told you.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think I have it listed under my disappointments,
Yeah.
um, because it was tough. It was too much exposition. They didn't just like trust the story. The actors are amazing, but they can only do so much.
Yep.
So, and then something else I'm looking forward to this year is the third season of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Okay.
So I'm definitely I'm definitely one of those who's been hooked by that. I think it's awesome. So
I didn't know they were through a season 2 already.
yeah,
Wow.
they did them sort of like really quickly back to back, and they're short seasons.
Okay.
Like 8 to 10 episodes and stuff like that. So yeah,
Okay.
it's really fun.
Hmm.
Like it's a great program. Well, again, well produced. For any nerds out there, Eowyn from Lord of the Rings, Miranda Otto is one of the main
Oh.
characters. She's one of the aunts, and she just kills it.
Oh, I,
Kills every single scene.
cool.
So, speaking of someone who dressed up as Eowyn for the Renaissance
That's
Festival,
right.
clearly I have a bias here,
Yeah.
but if I were trying to be unbiased, she still does kill it.
Hmm. Well, that
So,
sounds
what
like a
about
pretty
you?
good lineup. Yeah,
I think so.
um, I've been waiting. I thought it was supposed to come out in December, for the
Mhm.
third season of Castlevania, animated
Mm,
Netflix show. Our friend
yes.
Phil just watched that, and we watched that, and it's had a
When you
lot.
insist it's not an anime.
It is not an anime. That's right. Um, yeah, so I've been looking forward to that, and then not all of, some of the Disney Plus stuff. So like, if assuming it comes out this year, it's
Mhm.
WandaVision
I'm
sounds
so
really
excited for
interested.
WandaVision.
Yep.
Seriously.
I'm worried now though because WandaVision
Mm.
is supposed to lead into, to my understanding, the next Doctor Strange, where that was the thought
Yes,
anyways, and we could save that for maybe a movie episode, but there's a shakeup with the director of that movie now, so
I saw that. Yeah.
yeah, so I I'll wait on all that stuff I guess, but um, I am so hopeful for the Disney Plus stuff.
Yeah.
And then I would say the second half of the latest Rick and Morty season should be coming out, so I'm looking forward to that as well.
Nice. Nice.
Um, what do you what are you watching presently? What
What aren't I watching
okay?
presently?
What are you really enjoying that you're watching presently?
Okay. Okay. Um, I am watching this series on Netflix, You, with Penn Badgley.
Okay.
Um, it's excellent. It's so good. I got this off just like I was actually talking TV. Um, I had a girls' night with some of my sisters-in-law
Mm,
and sisters-in-law to be. And somebody recommended You, and I was like, all right, I like Penn Badgley as an actor, so I'll give it a shot. Turns out it's really good.
nice.
Like really a well-produced drama. It also has a clear sense of what it wants to do, who the characters are, where it's building as a story. At least the first season so far has done so. So I'm really enjoying that. Um, it's got some excellent twists, both I think that you can see coming and some that you can't. So, and it's got a lot of well done, very dark humor,
Okay.
which I'm usually into. I laugh at the dark stuff, so I got that gallows humor going on.
Nice.
Um, so that's a good one that I'm watching right now. Um, I am watching Supernatural
Okay. Okay.
with my husband. It's a great show to like have somebody else watch it with you.
Sure.
I think. There's so many episodes, it feels like it's gonna take forever to finish them, even though we're like powering through season
Yeah.
7 right
Okay.
now.
You're like halfway or something. Yeah. Yep.
I know. We're just like hoping to hit that halfway mark for God's sake. But it's a good one because it's easily picked back up and like put down and picked back up. Everything you can kind of follow. It's well done. Um, yeah, it's a good one I think to watch with someone else.
Okay.
Um, and then the other one I feel like I've tried to watch so many shows this year and like haven't followed through because some of them are just terrible. Like things
Yeah.
I thought were going to be good were really bad. Dude, I don't like Mad Men. I hate it. Oh, I hate
That's
it so much.
I haven't watched it. Yeah, I haven't
Oh,
watched it. It never appealed to me, so I didn't.
the world itself is gorgeous. I just do
Hmm.
not care about anyone on that show.
Right.
Like everybody just could just like die and it would make no difference to me. I'm emotionally invested in no
Maybe it would
one.
be the best. They all die and then they have to follow a new group of people
Love
that are
it.
more
Love
interested.
it. Bring it on, man. I tried to watch Outlander. I hate that too. It's
Huh.
supposed to be like so amazing and like the settings, like it just makes me want to go to Scotland. It doesn't make
Yep.
me want to watch these people. It makes me want to go to Scotland.
Right. Yep.
So that's like big ones that have been disappointing. I've also tried to watch there's a show on Netflix called Dairy Girls, and
Oh.
it's a comedy about like four girls growing up in Ireland in the 90s. It's supposed to be like cute little comedy. I hate it. I hate it. So rough. So, yeah, I'm sort of in the middle of like flipping around between shows that I'm trying to actually give a shot. Um I just binge watched a whole bunch of New Girl.
Okay.
Um and that's actually pretty cute. That's sort of providing me with some relief,
Mm-hmm.
some comedic relief from you,
Right.
because that's intensely dark.
Huh.
So yeah, so those are some of the things that I'm watching right now. And then as far as like when I'm watching via anime, I'm watching a light show right now called Gamers, which we watched at I think Detour. We started like the first two
Oh.
episodes.
Okay.
Um, and it's a cute little just like guy who's obsessed with games, like video games, and gets invited to be part of like the video game club
Oh,
at
that's right.
school.
I do
Yep,
remember that.
yep.
Yes, that's funny. Okay.
It's cute. I like it.
Yeah.
And it feeds my love of TV, anime, and gaming. So
Nice. Well, we're past an hour, I'm pretty sure now, so
we
we're
are. Holy
definitely getting
shit.
up there, and anyone that's gonna watch that is like, God, these guys drone on forever. So I'm just gonna
My
mention
fault. I'll take
quickly.
responsibility.
No, no, that like I'm gonna end on good news for you,
Ooh, okay.
because I see in the show notes that you have listed what you wish would come back as
Yes.
Westworld, and it is.
No. Shut up.
Yes, the Westworld, they're
Yes.
doing a
Thank
season
you.
3. It's happening. I'm worried about it because it looks very different. Um,
Okay.
it's a very
I've
different
heard nothing
setting.
about this, so
Aaron
brand new to me.
Aaron Paul, I think his name
Yeah.
is in it from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, same
Okay.
showrunners, same people. So
Okay.
I hope it's good.
Oh, me
But
too. Because I really liked it, and then it just was like, where did it go?
yep,
I couldn't find anything about it being canceled, so
yep,
I wasn't sure if it was coming back or not. That is great news.
yep.
Yes,
There's a lot of stuff that I'd like to like bring up, but we'll save it for another time, I guess. And
absolutely.
so Popcast on the Rocks, that's the name of this. The plan is to hopefully have something weekly. I think that would be great.
Yeah,
You know, if this goes monthly, I don't know, but hopefully if we manage the time. And this week we did television mostly. Other weeks maybe we'll, like I said, we talked about doing a full-on Star Wars episode.
absolutely.
Um, and like I say, a lot of these other things, there's stuff about the Marvel Netflix stuff. I could rant about that for a while if we want to have an episode of just me ranting about stuff. So, but do you,
Good. You should take the microphone away from me,
yeah.
clearly, because I have so much to say.
So this is going to Twitch right now, and we're gonna put it on YouTube. You can search for Podcast on the Rocks, and I'm not sure when we're gonna get it there, but we'll try to get it on other podcast services as well. So Apple Podcasts and Spotify for sure. Those seem like the big ones. So we'll see what happens. But
Absolutely.
cheers
All right.
and good
Good
night.
episode.
Yeah, and we'll talk to you in a week.
Sounds good.